Today I'll share with you the 3 most affordable neighborhoods and the 3 most expensive neighborhoods of Laval. In order to present you the most affordable and most expensive neighborhoods, I had to look at the data, the sold prices in Laval from January until September 2022. And I'll start with the most affordable neighborhoods. And affordable is something that's on everybody's mind because we gotta check where we're spending, inflation and all the different goods and services, the prices are going up. So I have to manage my budget, you have to manage your budget, especially if you have kids, and that's why I think you'll find the video really pertinent. And for those of you that have the big budget, those of you that like to dream of prestigious home, well, at the end of the video, I'll target those 3 most expensive neighborhoods in Laval, and those neighborhoods will make you dream. There's a few key data I'll share with you. I'll share with you how far is each neighborhood to the downtown area of Montreal and to the Montreal airport. On top of that, I'll share with you the average age of the homes in every area, and I'll finish with the average price of each and every one of those neighborhoods, the most affordable and then the most expensive neighborhoods. My name is Gabriel Laflamme. I've been a realtor since 2009, and every single day I get emails from people just like you that are looking to buy or sell a property in the greater Montreal area, whether it's in Laval, Montreal, the South Shore, the North Shore. My team and I were there to help. So if this is your case, whether you have a plan of buying or selling a month, 6 months, a year from now, shoot us an email and we'll guide you from A to Z so that your transition is as smooth as possible. We're there to help. Let's start with the first and most affordable area neighborhoods of Laval, Laval-Ouest. Laval-Ouest is located on the western part of Laval, pretty close to the city of Saint-Eustache, just across the bridge. When we're looking at the data, the distance from the downtown area, we're looking at 30 to 36 kilometers to get to the downtown area, or 50 minutes drive to an hour and 50 minutes depending on traffic. You're about 24 kilometers from the Montreal airport, pretty close. So it's a 35 to 45 minutes drive to the airport. And in terms of the average age of the homes, you'll notice that about 35% of the homes were built between the 1940s and the 1970s, and the rest is mostly built in the 1980s and 1990s. But we're starting to see in the last couple of years a lot of new houses being built. Some buyers will buy an old house, they'll demolish the old house and they'll build a brand new house. And we're starting to see a lot of those. So I wouldn't be surprised if in 20 or 15 years from now, the Laval-Ouest area would be really refreshed with a lot of people remodeling their houses, building new houses, and the same thing for businesses. So right now, it's a little bit uneven. It's not a homogeneous area. But in the future, I bet you it's gonna be much better and more appealing. And lastly, what I have to say about the neighborhood of Laval-Ouest is that the average price, if you wanna buy a house there, is around $463,000, which is quite affordable for Laval. Of course, you have to drive more west to the western part of Laval, but at least you save money by buying a house at an average price of $463,000. The second most affordable neighborhood of Laval is on the eastern side of Laval, Saint-François. So again, it's the other edge of the island, close to the city of Terrebonne. Again, you cross a bridge, you go to Terrebonne, so it's really further away, but it's cheaper. So let's look at the stats. When you live in Saint-François, you're about 28 to 32 kilometers from downtown area, which is about a 45 to an hour and 50 minutes drive, depending on traffic. You're about 38 to 41 kilometers from the Montreal airport, or again, 45 minutes to an hour of drive time. And the average age is about half and half. I mean, 50% were built in the 1950s to about the 70s, and the other half is mostly the 1980s and to the 1990s, plus or minus, or beginning of 2000s. So it's a little bit newer homes compared to Laval-Ouest, but it's further east. I'm not sure if I mentioned when I was talking about Laval-Ouest. For all of those most affordable neighborhoods, I'll specifically target the single family homes that are detached with 3 bedrooms that are, I'd say, medium size. So that's like our basis, our like benchmark. So for Saint-François, if you were to buy a house, detached, single family home with 3 bedroom, medium size, you will have to pay $501K to buy a single family home. And Laval-Ouest was at 463K, if I'm not mistaken. The good thing about Saint-François is that a couple of years back, a new bridge was built to get to Montreal. It's a paying bridge where you pay a toll. But the good thing is that it's close to Saint-François, so it makes it way easier now to go to Montreal. You use that bridge and you go to Montreal, so it reduces the commuting time, but unfortunately you gotta pay the toll fee, but you're not as far to Montreal. Now let's look at the third most affordable neighborhood of Laval. It's the neighborhood called Saint-Vincent-de-Paul. It's a more central area surrounded by Duvernay, which is another neighborhood of Laval. And again, I'll present you the statistics for a single family home, detached, a 3-bedroom, medium size. But let's look at the distance, where we're located precisely. So Saint-Vincent-de-Paul is about 18 to 20 kilometers from the downtown area, or 40 minutes to an hour drive. And we're 35 to 36 kilometers from Montreal Airport, or 38 to 45 minutes drive time. And the average age of houses is mostly 1950s and 60s. It's an older neighborhood. And lastly, for a single family home, detached houses with 3-bedroom, you'll have to pay $509,000, $509K for a single family home, which is a little bit more expensive than Saint-François, but not that much. And it's a little bit older compared to Saint-François. Now that we've looked at the 3 most affordable areas of Laval, let's look at the 3 most prestigious and expensive neighborhoods of Laval. Before we start to look at those neighborhoods, it's important for us to look at the meaning of the word prestigious, high-end, expensive, because, you know, a couple of years back when we were talking about the prestige home, the high-end homes, we were talking about a home that was priced at $1 million, that was sold at $1 million. But in the last couple of years, it has moved up to, I'd say, 1.3, 1.4. So most of the time when we're talking about a high-end house, it's a house in that price bracket, 1.3, 1.4 or above. For the purpose of this exercise, I've only looked at houses that were sold between January and September 2022 that were sold above $1 million. One detail I'll share with you that I haven't shared with the most affordable homes is that I'll share with you the average size of the home and the average size of the land for those prestigious area, because obviously if you're paying a lot of money for a house, it comes with a size and it comes with a bigger lot size. So I'll share the details with you so that you can pick the one that's best for your needs. The most prestigious, the most expensive neighborhood of Laval is called Laval-sur-le-Lac, located on the western part of Laval, not so far away from Laval-Ouest, but a different type of vibe and area. It's where you have the most amount of CEOs, attorneys, people that are members of boards, if they're like public companies, even actors, athletes, because it's a smaller community and it's close to one of the best golf courses in Quebec, which is called Laval-sur-le-Lac. Laval-sur-le-Lac has been there for like almost 100 years, or I think it has surpassed, or close to 100 years. And when you buy a house in Laval-sur-le-Lac, most of the time you play golf there, you go eat there because you got like a fantastic restaurant. I've been there this summer with a friend of mine to play golf and we had a fantastic dinner. It's really exquisite, you know, you see like CEOs everywhere playing golf. So it's really for the rich and famous. It's been like that for like decades. When I was born, it was already like huge and it was already like famous and exquisite, and like only the really rich of the richest live there. In terms of its location, it's about 32 to 37 kilometers from the downtown area, or a 50 minutes to an hour and 50 minutes drive. 21 to 25 kilometers from the Montreal airport, or about a 35 to 45 minute drive to the airport. And when it comes to the average age, you'll notice that a portion of those houses were built in the 1920s and the 1970s. But then again, you got a big portion of those big mansion, 2-story level houses that were built between the 1990s and the 2000s. And when it comes to the dimension, the size of the house, huge houses. If we're talking about the cottage, like 2-story level house, you'll have around, I don't know, from 4,000 to 4,500 square feet of interior space. So it's a huge house with like 4 or 5 bedroom and more. And the thing that's most noticeable about the area is the size of the land. The land can be from 20,000 to 35,000 square feet. So when you drive in this area, you'll notice it's really like, you can feel it's high end because the neighbors are further away. It's on a huge lot. And I think people are buying in this area for the type of clientele, the type of neighbors you'll have, but also for the size of the land. That's what makes it really, really different from all the different neighborhoods of Laval. You could also find some bungalows on like one floor houses that are about 2,500 square feet to 3,000 square feet with maybe like 3 or 4 bedroom and maybe 2 or 3 bath. But again, always on a huge piece of land, close to the Gulf, Laval-sur-le-Lac, and with neighbors, like you might have a CEO neighbor right here, and you have a hockey player over here, so it's really prestigious. And when it comes to pricing, there's not a lot of houses that are sold in this area, but when I looked at the data from January to September 2022, the average price was about 1.7 million bucks. The cheapest you'll pay is around $1 million, but it can go up to 3 million plus. Around 3 million is probably the highest, like 3.5 for the highest price you'll pay. There's some outliers, but you know, it's between 1 million to 3 million with an average price of 1.7 million. The second most expensive neighborhood of Laval is called East Islemère. It's a smaller area of the Sainte-Dorothée neighborhood of Laval. What is great about this area is the fact that it's so close to Montreal. It's really on the southern part of Montreal. You can cross the bridge and go to all the west island of Montreal, and the sector is fairly new. I'll look at the distance from Montreal and you'll see. It's about 23 to 27 kilometers from the downtown area, or 40 minutes to 60-minute drive depending on traffic. Really close to the airport, 14 kilometers, so 20 to 25 minutes away from the airport. And the average age, it's mostly between 1998 and 2014, so it was built like really fairly recently. And in terms of the size, you'll have like, most houses are 2-story level houses, a cottage, and that's about 3,000 square feet to maybe 3,500, or maybe if you stretch it out to 4,000. But 3,000 to 3,500 with a double garage, 5 bedroom, 3 bath, and size of the land is about, I'd say on average, 8,000 square feet. You could have like between 6,000 and 12,000, but on average, I'd say 8,000 square feet, which is bigger than the average size of the land in Laval. The last but not least of the most expensive neighborhood of Laval, Val-des-Brises in Duvernay. I've spoken about this area before. It's a newer neighborhood just north of Highway 440 in Laval. I'd say it's center east, I'd say. And the good thing about the area is that it's hard for you to go there if you don't live there, because you know you have to use the exit of the highway. So when you live there, you'll notice there's nobody like in front of, there's no cars passing by. So if you have kids playing hockey outside, well, you'll feel safe. And that's why people like to live there. It's like a close community, and people like to just buy there and stay there. They buy in there and they stay there for like 10 or 15 years till the kids are old enough to go to university. That's what I've noticed about my clients that I've bought there. And in terms of its location, 21 kilometers away from downtown area, or a 50 minutes to an hour drive. 31 to 32 kilometers from the airport, or about a 35 to 45 minutes drive. And the average age is around, I'd say, the 1990s to about 2009. So again, really new as a neighborhood. The lot size is a little bit smaller because, you know, it's about 6,000 square foot. The newer the house in Laval, most of the time you'll find that the land is smaller, so you'll have a land of 6,000 square foot, as opposed to East Islemère in Sainte-Dorothée that was about 8,000 or a little bit more, and Laval-sur-le-Lac, which was 20,000 square feet to 35,000 square feet of land. But for Val-des-Brises, average size for the lot, 6,000 square feet. So the size of the house now is about 2,500 square feet to 3,000 or 3,500 square feet. Normally you have between 4 to 5 bedroom, 2 or 3 bath. Most of the time you have double garage. Since the lot size is 6,000 square feet, you'll see the neighbors, but the neighbors are nice because it's most of the time you'll notice that a family member buys here, a cousin will buy here, like a friend will buy here, family member will buy here. So it's really like, once you live there, you want your friends to come over because it's really a nice place to live. And last but not least, average price is around $1.3 million for a detached house of about 4 to 5 bedroom, 3 bath, and a double garage. So this is it, guys, for the most affordable, the 3 most affordable and the 3 most expensive neighborhood of Laval. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to write in the comments. And if you need help to buy or sell a property in Laval or in the surrounding cities or even Montreal or the South Shore, my team and I were there to help. So just shoot us an email and we'll help you for sure. And if you like real estate videos, stick around because I got more coming up. Take care.